Hello everybody, it's Dr. Steve with another episode of Core Wellness TV. Today I am going to share with you a couple of concepts it's going to help you improve your energy and decrease the amount of pain and dysfunctional aging that you have to deal with as you accumulate stress throughout your life. The two things I want to talk about are 1, recycling gravity, and 2, stopping energy leaks. Very important. And let me take a step back to what brought this about. I was at the rehab center. My mom just recently is going through some rehabilitation from a brain surgery that she had, and I noticed that in the rehab room, everyone had a head-forward posture. And even a lot of the therapists, but all of the brain injury folks, they all had a very specific pattern, and it was like this. You know, whenever you have a stroke or you've had any kind of surgery on your brain or any kind of movement disorder, almost always you'll see that the head goes forward, just like if you were poking your head at a computer screen. Okay? What happens with brain injuries is it doesn't allow you to turn on your youth, growth, and renewal system. That system gets inhibited and shut off, and you basically develop an amnesia of it. So what happens with us as we get older and more stress accumulates in our life? Dr. Vladimir Janda, one of my mentors and had the privilege of training with him in person before he died, he talked about, he was the father of upper cross and lower cross posture syndrome, which is what I talk a lot about, and that's what the Reverse CPS Now program is all about. If you don't have it, make sure you get it. It's free on the website. Just click on my picture and you get that. But anyway, he talked about people having minimal brain dysfunction. Okay, we're not talking about acute brain injuries, but people with minimal brain dysfunction because of stress. It happens because of stress, because stress draws you forward, and whenever you're constantly in that forward draw, your brain doesn't get to function normally. You can't think straight, you have stress signals going through your system, and this causes the physiology of stress and the physiology of breakdown and the physiology of unhealthy aging. So it's very, very important to understand how to use this system that brings you back in line with gravity, which brings us to the first point of recycling gravity. I weigh 200 pounds. I've got 200 pounds. Gravity has created 200 pounds into the floor. Okay? So now I have a choice. I can either use gravity, because this gravity is going through me, right? And I am creating that force with the ground, but if I am out of balance with my posture and my head starts moving forward like a brain-injured person or a minimally brain-injured person or a person who's under stress or doing computer work all day, if I am doing that and I'm not in that perfect alignment, whenever I'm forward, that gravity can grab me and pull me forward. And when it pulls you forward, it basically draws your joints out of alignment and creates more degeneration and decay and arthritis and all that stuff that causes us to not be able to move actively whenever we get older. It makes us stiff and old before our times. So, but if you keep everything in line all the way down, ears, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, if everything's in line all the way down, then gravity can come right down through you, and all I have to do is have the intention of pushing away from the ground and using that force. Now I can take that force, that 200 pounds that I just put into the ground, I can take that and reverse it and bring it through my body and use it for power and spring and energy and pushing and pulling and shooting a basketball or pushing a vacuum or jumping, doing a high jump or play, whatever it is, you can take that energy and bring it back up through your body. Now, if your body is out of balance, if you've lost your ability to keep your core together, which most people that I evaluate cannot actively turn on their core like they were designed to, as they developed when they were a child. They've lost that ability. They've developed an amnesia of how to use their core system. So what happens is the pelvis will fall forward easily. Okay? And sometimes it's because of tightness in the hips. Sometimes it's because of weakness in the core. But that has to be evaluated and discovered, because if it's because of tight hips, it doesn't do any good to stretch your hips out all day. You need to work on your core. Okay, some people have a really strong core but really tight hips. So it's a matter of finding out what is your key link. But regardless, whenever your pelvis drifts forward, okay, and that now I have allowed that energy to be able to leak out of me. Because if I'm taking that energy and I'm trying to bring it back up through my body, and if I have a forward tilted pelvis, when that energy comes up, it's going to go flying out the front. And when that energy goes spilling out the front, I'm getting overloaded in my back. So a poor core or tight hips will cause a energy leak out the front, which causes an overload in the back. Another way you can leak energy is if your knees go inward. Okay? If your knees go inward, then whenever you try to push that energy back up through your body and your knees aren't in alignment, that energy comes back up through and starts spilling out the inside, and then you get overloaded on the joints on the outside. And this is what causes our degeneration of our knees. So it's important to have perfect alignment all the way through the system. So that's why in our posture coaching course, we're going to go over exactly and break the squat down detail by detail to make sure that when you bend down to get something up, you're not losing your energy through your knees and you're tearing your knees up. Okay, so that's a big piece of the puzzle, is how to do this stuff correctly. And a couple of tips I'm going to share with you how you can start doing this now is always, whenever you have, first of all, it's always having the intention of pushing away from your support points. I've talked about that again and again. That's the main thing. And if you don't get anything else, that's the main action step. If you've never heard this before, that's the action step you take today. Is you understand that right now I am standing on the 3 pillars of my feet. The base of my heel, the base of my big toe, and the base of my little toe. And those are my 3 pillars of support on each foot. I'm going to have the intention of pushing away from those pillars. Just the intention. Imagining that I've got a rocket booster on each one of those pillars, and I've turned on the rocket booster, and I'm pushing away from those support points, automatically brings that energy back up through my body and turns on my core. It's a natural thing. You shouldn't have to activate your core consciously. It should come on organically when you have the intention of pushing away. Okay? So that's the major take home today. I know I've said that before in past videos, but I want to get this across. It's so vitally important. Always pay attention to where your support points are and simply imagine pushing away from them. Okay? And you can also do that with your hands. Imagine that you're pushing away from something with your hands. As soon as you push away, automatically your posture comes into alignment. And you automatically your ribs come down, right? It doesn't look like this. It looks like this. So whenever you push away, you don't want it to look like this, because then all your energy goes spilling out and you've overloaded your back. So when you push away, your ribs come down in a very level angle. You don't want them coming down like this. You want them coming down like this. So pushing away from support points is the main thing I wanted to get across today. Okay? Now, the things I want you to do now, I'm going to be teaching much more of this in depth in the posture coaching course, the Release and Rewire course, where we're going to teach you how to release old patterns of mindset stuff that's not serving you, thoughts of stress, thoughts of degeneration, and we're going to work on the mindset piece. We're going to work on the nutrition piece, getting rid of stress through nutrition by balancing your fats, getting your glycemic sugar under control, and all kinds of stuff like that. We're going to talk about nutrition, and then of course we're going to talk about how to hold your body against gravity, how to basically take your posture, bring it into alignment so you can recycle gravity for energy and spring rather than it grabbing you and taking you down and tearing you up. So those 3 things, those are the 3 pillars of the program. And so I want you to make sure that if you're not on it, get on the early notification list for the course. We'll start enrollment probably by the end of September. And if you're watching this after that point, look around somewhere. You'll find something about either a posture course or a therapeutic lifestyle program or something to that effect. Basically, it's going to be a coaching course that's going to be available. So make sure you get on the early notification list, or make sure you get the Reverse CPS Now program. It's free, and it goes over, you get 4 different self-tests to test yourself for these postural imbalances, and you also get a fundamentals exercise program. I think it's about 20 minutes long, but it's some of the best, most important things to focus on. And I decided to give that away for free because I want as many people as possible to understand this, because people don't have to suffer with unhealthy aging and the postural, breakdown that seems to happen with everyone. You just have to have the awareness and the intention of pushing away from support points, keep growing, expanding, and renewing. So that's it. Get on the early notification list. There should be a form somewhere on this page, or get on the Reverse CPS Now list so you can get that free video series. Okay? All right. So that's it. Till next time, keep thinking good thoughts, eating good food, and keep moving functionally.